Please go ahead, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Sister Shivani, Shri Vineet Agarwal, and all the participants. I would like to welcome you for this wonderful webinar. This pandemic has brought this whole topic, work-life balance and stress management, at a center stage. Work-life balance was a subject that was talked about for many, many years, but it has never got the importance it deserved for all these years. During this pandemic, the world is seeing a reset time. This reset time is making people rediscover themselves, realign their priorities in life, re-look at everything that the way they have been doing, how they have been doing, what they have been doing, and whether whatever they are doing is worth their while. Till recently, when people used to talk about work from home, it was primarily confined to IT sector. But in the last few months, many sectors, many industries, many people who were earlier not working from home have embraced this new work culture. While this work culture has been embraced by people, it has brought new set of challenges to the people. The challenges people are facing today are distraction at work, lack of motivation, technological hiccups that they are experiencing when they are working from home, which earlier were not a matter of concern to them, and work-life balance. And I'm very happy to welcome Brahmakumari's sister Shivani. She needs actually no introduction. She has become a household name in the last few years. She appeared on television series Awakening with Brahmakumaris. And I don't think I need to actually introduce this audience about the Brahmakumaris. They have played a very, very significant role in bringing a totally a new culture amongst the people that they interact. And millions of people in this country have benefited from their discourses. Sister has recorded many episodes on living values, self-management, inner power, harmony in relationship, law of karmas, and many more. The amount of work that she has done in such young life, it is very difficult for me to describe in few words. So you will hear her yourself. You are not here to listen to me. We would actually give the floor to her in a while. Before I do that, I will request Mr. Vineet Agarwal to give his opening address. Shri Vineet Agarwal is a well-known figure. He is Vice President of SHM, and he is also Managing Director of TCI, one of the leading corporations in this country. So, Mr. Vineet Agarwal, over to you.
Thank you, Anil ji, and welcome Brahmakumari VK's sister Shivani ji to our webinar today on illness to wellness, work-life balance and stress management. I would also like to welcome all the other dignitaries who have joined us as panelists, as well as other delegates across the nation on a subject which is so critical and important in today's life. It is so important that we are doing this on a Monday at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning, which is the time when most people are still figuring out what they're going to do for this entire week in their work life. So it is very critical for all of us. All of us are here because this is a subject which is very important and dear to us. It is a subject which is a multi-generational issue. It has been expanded and it has had a impact, a deeper impact in the last possibly 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but it has had an impact in several generations as well. I remember this is something my grandfather, when he started our company, he had these issues of how to manage work and life. Coming back from work at 10 o'clock in the morning, waking up again at 4 or 5 to go to the post office to book a telephone calls because you did not have phones then, and then coming and maybe resting for an hour and then going back to work. So there was no concept of life. It was everything was going. So it's a multi-general issue, and something which is very critical in everyone's life is the need for balance. Whether we are talking about mental, physical, spiritual, the balance is something that has been in the last several years become more and more into focus. So many people ask me, how do you manage, how is your work-life balance managed across? So my one answer is that I manage my work at 100% and I manage my life at 100%, which means that when I'm at work, I'm thinking about 100% only about work. When I'm at life, that is with my family or spending time by myself, 100% of my time is that. I'm not trying to fiddle around with my phone or trying to do things. So I'm giving my concentration 100% to my life as well. So I think that balance is difficult, it's challenging, and I think this is something where we would love to hear more and more from Sister Shivani today to understand and how we can imbibe in our own lives. There is a quote that I recently read from Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, I strive hard to preserve my physical body. Do I take the same pains to know my soul? So this is very indicative of how we need to think about how to go ahead and create this balance in life. And with these words, I would now like to listen to more, and everyone would love to listen to the wisdom of Sister Shivani ji here and her visionary thoughts on this subject. Thank you so much again for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti, Namaskar, and good morning. Very, very beautiful words in the topic itself. Illness to wellness, work-life balance, and stress management. And very profound thoughts shared by Anilji and Vinitji. And within 5 minutes, what they have shared, there is so much learning that happens from there. Even if we pick up one point from what each one has shared and implement it in our life, we can create a shift. We can create a shift. I think we all know what we need to do. And we hear it every day. We read it. We even forward it to each other. You know, the lovely quotes we get, and we forward it to each other because they're so nice to read that we want to share them with everyone. So we read it, we listen to it, we forward it, we share it. There's only one thing that's left, is to pick it up and to implement it in our life. And to think that if something was so nice to just listen, you know, even like when we heard just now, that we spend an entire life taking care of our body, how much time do we take care of the soul? Sounds so good to hear that. But now am I going to take it back into my life and spend some time on a daily basis to take care of the soul? If we do not use the word soul in our vocabulary because it's a very spiritual word and some people would say, I'm not spiritual, then let's just keep it as simple as I take a lot of time to take care of the body. How much time do I spend to take care of the mind? So no one will have any questions as far as the mind is concerned. So how much time do I take care of my mind? If we look at the word stress, and Many are now saying, especially in these last 4 months, that working from home has become very stressful. कोई टाइम ही नहीं है, कभी भी फोन करते हैं, कभी भी मीटिंग करते हैं, कभी भी कुछ हो रहा है. इससे अच्छा तो जब हम काम पर थे, that was a better option. But you know, 6 months back, go to any corporate organization and you ask anyone, what's the cause of your stress? So they would say, I'm spending all my time at work. Kabhi ghar pe baithe, tab to stress khatam ho. So we got the opportunity to experiment the other side too. But we created stress even when we were sitting only at home. We were creating stress when we were at work. But what did we do? Both the times, we blamed the situation. We blamed the situation and we said, I'm stressed because I'm not spending enough time at home. Today we're saying, I'm stressed because I'm throughout the day at home. So every time the blame is on a situation. Today we're saying we're stressed because of COVID. We're stressed because of the lockdown. We are stressed because of what's happening in business. Go to your life before COVID. It's not that stress has happened in these last 5-6 months. Let's go to our life before COVID and let's just check our vocabulary. Each time we created stress, anger, irritation, anxiety, we had someone or something to put a finger on. And we said, I'm stressed because of, I'm angry because of, I'm irritated because of. We could get irritated even first thing in the morning while driving to work. If the traffic is not moving at the pace that I want it to move, if things are not as per what the GPS had shown me, I allow myself to get irritated and I say it's not because of me, it's because of the traffic. It's because of how people around me are driving. We always have something to put the finger on and to say this outside is the cause of my stress. In the evening, it could be my spouse's behavior. It could be my child's behavior. It could be the weather. Open the window in the morning and so many of us will say such a depressive weather. So we can put our finger on anything and say this is the cause of our stress. Corporate India had a word which said work stress. So why do we use the word work stress? Because we're saying our stress is because of work. It is this belief system which has not allowed us to get rid of our stress because we thought stress is because of this situation. Stress is because of people's behavior. And so we are waiting. We are waiting for situations to become perfect. We are waiting for people to become perfect. We are waiting for the world to become perfect so that I can be stress-free. So that I can be stress-free because it is they. This is a life of emotional dependence. And this is the most important thing we're going to take up. And we are going to start experimenting it today. We are people who love independence. We like freedom. Physically, we don't want to be dependent on anyone. We don't want somebody holding our hand to take us to the door. No, I want to be independent. Financially, I don't want to be dependent on anyone. Socially, the world is not going to tell me how to live my life. I want to be socially independent. There's only one thing in which we have accepted to be dependent, and that is emotional dependence, which means everything I create here, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, I'm blaming it on things outside. This is a life of emotional dependence. And we accepted this. We said it's normal, and everybody around us said it's normal. And we're talking of the world before COVID. We said this is normal. And then came a global situation, and together we created fear and anxiety. And again, we said this is normal. So, what we are doing is we are calling illness as normal. We know physical illness, we know mental illness. Now we need to check what is emotional illness. Physically, we are healthy. Mentally, we are healthy. So we are not using antidepressant, no anti-anxiety medicine, anti-panic attack, nothing. So I will say I'm mentally fit. I can say I'm physically fit. I need to check whether I'm emotionally fit. Emotionally fit. Is my mind fit? Criteria is, am I emotionally independent? Which means there can be crisis outside. Can I be calm inside? It means somebody can be rude to me. Somebody can be angry, shouting at me. Can I be stable and respond with dignity? This is emotional fitness, where I am not getting affected by the energy of situations and people. They are outside, and I have the strength to choose my response. This is the stimulus. This is my response. We thought the stimulus is creating our response. Stimulus doesn't create our response. Stress, definition in science, stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. We need to get the equation right into our lives. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Pressures are high. Okay, there's no doubt about that. Pressures are high. Pressure can be as simple as, again, the traffic jam in the morning. Pressure can be COVID. Anything outside of me is my pressure. Pressure could be my children's education, pressure could be financial, pressure could be targets at work, pressure can be a colleague who I don't get along with. All these are pressures. Pressure could be my physical health. So this is all the numerator of our life. Numerators are high, but maybe numerators will go higher in the coming times. But stress is not equal to pressure. We've been saying stress is equal to pressure. So that's why we said work stress, family stress, children stress. I meet people who call parenting as stress. They say parenting is very stressful. These are our pressures, but we are not taking care of the denominator. So COVID has taught us that we need to start focusing on the denominator. And that's why that quote was very beautiful. How much time am I spending taking care of my mind, taking care of the soul, which means how much time am I spending on the denominator? So stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Numerator increasing day by day. Denominator, because not taken care of. If it was taken care of, we can increase the denominator on a daily basis. But denominator not being taken care of is started reducing on a daily basis. Resilience means inner power. My resilience to cope with the situation. We do not cope with situations in the same way. Even a situation like COVID, even a situation like lockdown, even a situation like what's happening in your workplace, everyone does not respond the same way. Forget everybody outside. Come to your house, a family of 4. All 4 of you do not respond to situations the same way. Suppose there's a situation in family. कोई बात आई है आपके घर पे. One person will say, इतनी बड़ी बात है, such a big problem, it's a crisis. Another person will say, हाँ, बड़ी बात आई है, there is a problem. Third person will say, बात है, ठीक हो जाएगी. It's a situation and it will get fine. And the fourth person will say, इसमें क्या बात है, छोटी सी तो बात है, ये तो होता रहता है. This is just a part of life. So for someone, the same situation is a crisis. For another one, it's a problem. For another one, it's a situation. And for a fourth person, it's normal part of life. 4 people perceive the same situation in different ways, depends on what's their denominator. What is their denominator? So it's time. It's time to start taking charge of our denominator. It's time to stop blaming the numerator, because me blaming my numerator does not reduce the numerator, but me blaming the numerator definitely reduces my denominator, because I put my finger there and say, it's because of them, it's because of them. This depletes my inner power, because I feel like a victim, कि मेरे हाथ में तो कुछ है ही नहीं, दुनिया ही अच्छी नहीं है मेरे चारों तरफ. So it's like I've given the remote control of my mind to people and I say, press the button, and that's how I'm going to feel. If we live like this, the last 4 months has given us some evidence that if we live like this, then the chances of this escalating can take us from an emotional health issue to a mental health issue. Last 4 months, there's been a steep rise, not just in India, all over the world. The countries which have been largely affected by the epidemic, there's been a steep rise in depression, in an anxiety attacks, In India, we've seen steep rise in conflicts in relationships. There have been huge number of phone calls for domestic violence. Let's pause and think. The pandemic was outside. It was a physical health issue. Why should there be a rise in the mental health issue of the country? Where's the connection? The connection is emotionally. The denominator was not energized enough to be able to face a situation in life. So the pressure, when it increased, denominator not taken care of, stress factor increased multiple times, and we tipped off to something more than stress. So it's time to take care of our emotional health. Now, what would we call emotional illness and what would we call emotional health or wellness? Emotional illness. Anytime my mind is overthinking disturbed, it's emotional illness. The graph here, like for an ECG, it should always be moving up and down. If it becomes stable, then that means physically over. Emotionally, it's the other way around. If this is moving up and down, that means we are not stable. We are emotionally disturbed. High, low, high, low. Somebody says a nice word, I go high. Somebody says something which is not my way, I go low. So if the graph is going like that, this is not health. So emotional illness, stress, worry. Worry is emotional illness. Irritation, anger, aggression, impatience. Jaldi karo, jaldi karo, jaldi karo. Impatience. Thinking that we are busy all the time. I am very busy. Before COVID, we asked anybody, आप थोड़ी देर meditation करो, तो कहते मरने को भी फुर्सत नहीं है. So believing that I'm very, very busy, getting hurt, getting upset, feeling rejected, jealousy, comparison, competition, criticism, complaining, not being able to forgive, not being able to let go. Emotional illness. How do we know this is emotional illness? This is low vibrational emotions, low vibrational. All these emotions have an effect on the body. Create anger, it will have an effect on your body. Create stress, it has an effect on your body. Remember when we went for an exam to school, if we were stressed, we would start feeling giddy, we would start feeling things in our stomach. Somebody would get fever on the day of the exam, somebody would get nausea. Some of us still get it when we have to give an interview, when we have to go for a public talk. So it is effect of the stress on the body. So they are such powerful emotions that they even affect our body. And today our doctors are telling us that most of our diseases are lifestyle diseases. So then we come to diabetes, hypertension, and of course the whole list. And the doctor said, most of the time, this is a lifestyle disease. Please underline that. It's a lifestyle disease. When we say lifestyle, lifestyle does not mean only what I eat, what I drink, how much I sleep, what time I sleep, and do I exercise? Because those are the only parameters we check for lifestyle. Eating, drinking, sleeping, and exercising. These are very, very important. But a very, very important factor for lifestyle is this life. Life is this energy who thinks, feels, decides, and comes into karma. This life, what is the style of this life? Which means what is the style of your thinking? What is the style of your speaking? What is your vocabulary? And what is the style of your behaving? What is the style of your working? That is all a part of the lifestyle. You can be a strict vegetarian, you can be a teetotaler, you could be exercising every day, you could be sleeping right, and yet some of us go to the doctor and say, but my lifestyle is perfect. Why do I have high blood pressure? Why do I have diabetes? Why do I have high cholesterol? My lifestyle is perfect because we were not taking care of that one factor. This is lifestyle. The way I think, speak, behave, work. This is lifestyle. And if we start taking care of this lifestyle, emotional wellness will automatically lead to mental wellness and physical wellness. We're all working hard now for physical immunity. But Can I really have the best physical immunity if my emotional immunity is low? So let's put emotional health on a priority. How to do it is very simple. Putting it on a priority is what is important. Putting it on a priority is important. To do it is very simple. To create emotional health is the easiest thing to do. All of you have created miracles in the outer world. Now time to create a miracle in the inner world. So let's put emotional health on a priority. Let's keep the formula before us. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Pressure not in my control. Resilience completely in my control. So let me focus on what is in my control. That's the denominator. When we say work-life balance, it's not about how much we are working. Like Vinitji shared, he was talking about his parents, his father, and he said he hardly got time at home. He hardly got time at home. He was most of the time at work. But we need to ask him, how was his emotional health? How was his mental health? And how was his physical health? That we definitely need to ask him and ask ourselves today. We have a lot of time, and yet these three factors are compromised, because work-life balance is actually not about time. It's not about how many hours at work, how many hours at home, because everyone has different roles to play. And we have chosen that role, so nothing to complain. I may have chosen to be working 16 hours a day. I have chosen it. It's my choice, and I am giving my 100% to it. Work-life balance means how you are here while you're working. This life is here. How you are here while you are working. Is this balanced? Is this stable? Then you will be able to be calm and peaceful, whether you're at work, whether you're at home. Nowadays, people are not sure where they are more stressed, at work or at home. Even that change I have seen in the last 10 years. 10, 15 years back, you talk to a corporate, you say, what's the cause of your stress? Work. Monday to Friday, very stressful. Saturday, Sunday, we're looking for the weekend. We're waiting for the weekend. And Monday morning, we would say, oh, it's Monday all over again. But nowadays, I meet people who say, oh, I prefer to be at work. I don't want to go home. And when I'm at home, I'm just waiting when I can go to work on a Monday morning. So a lot of things are changing. So it's no more about work. It's also about home, because it's neither about work. It's neither about home. It's about my mind. If I don't take care of this, I'm stressed in both the places. If I take care of this, I can be calm and stable in both the places. It's not about the place. It's not about the people. It's about life, my way of thinking. So let's go on to the denominator, inner resilience, priority from today. What can I do on a daily basis to start taking care of my mind? What can I do on a daily basis to start taking care of my mind? One very, very important factor which is affecting our state of mind is content consumption. Emotional health, I need to check my emotional diet. For physical health, the doctor will first ask us, what's your diet? Similarly, for emotional health, what's your emotional diet? And emotional diet means what you watch, what you read, what you listen. What you watch, what you read, what you listen. This is what goes in, and this is what creates my emotional health. Our thoughts are created based on information. Most of us belong to the generation who didn't have mobiles. We probably saw the first phones coming home, the first TV set. We are the generation without internet. So we are generation without most of the technology. We've seen that time. And that time, what was the source of content? Which means what was the source of information going inside me when I was in school and college? My parents, my teachers, my friends and neighbors, everybody around me, some very good books to read, and everything we studied in school, and one newspaper which came home. That's it, information, content. So when I am living in that era where that's the kind of content that's going inside me, emotional health was not an issue. हाँ, कभी कभी गुस्सा, कभी कभी टेंशन, थोड़ा बहुत, then that's it. 20 years back, when I was in college, 25, 30 years back, I had not heard word depression. Depression was one of those rare things which happened to somebody. Rare. Depression was rare. Diabetes was not common. Divorce was a stigma. We are not talking history. We are talking only 20, 25 years back. And why these three things? We've become increased numbers in the last few years. Emotional health affected by emotional diet. So first step to take care of your mind, discipline, lifestyle discipline. First step to take care of your mind, take lot of care of the content you consume. We are all very aware of diets nowadays for our body. So many diets are there nowadays which can give us good physical health. But for good physical health, we need emotional health. So take care of the content you consume, which means the world news, how much to watch and what time to watch, how much to consume from social media platforms, how much to consume from digital content, how much to consume from television, serials, movies and songs, how much and what is the quality. If I am going to consume content which has stress, violence, anger, criticism, ridicule, competition, pulling each other down, then that's what goes in, and that's who I start becoming. It happens very, very gradually, but that's what goes in and that's who I start becoming. If I want to become emotionally healthy, I need to consume content. I need to consume a healthy emotional diet, which means content of gratitude, content of compassion, content of peace, love, and happiness, content of respect, acceptance, and unity, content of self-respect, content of caring, sharing, and cooperation, content of empathy and acceptance, letting go, forgiveness, and forgetting. I will have to consume that content. I cannot become that without consuming it. My body becomes what I eat and drink. My mind becomes what I watch, read, listen. And that's why very, very important to be a little strict with yourself, and extremely important to be very careful of what your children are consuming, because they are a generation who are born and they have technology right from that age of 1 and 2. They are born with screens around them. So this is going to be another era altogether. To see the impact of screens from childhood, we will get to see after another 5-10 years. So be very careful, very, very careful. Recently, there is a documentary prepared by Netflix called Social Dilemma, The Social Dilemma. I think some of you must have watched that already. If not, please watch it. It talks about how everything has been designed to manipulate our mind, and we are allowing our mind to get manipulated day after day, day after day, day after day. And if we keep doing that, how will we be emotionally fit? How can I be emotionally strong? So first, very important factor is content consumption. Now, how to put it in our lifestyle? First thing in the morning. The first hour of the morning is extremely important. The first hour of the morning. Make a simple lifestyle habit from tomorrow. Don't look at your phone for an hour in the morning. Don't look at your phone for an hour in the morning. Just note this down and just experiment with it for only 15-20 days to see the result. Don't look at your phone first thing in the morning. There are very, very few professions who need to look at their phone at 5 or 6 in the morning. The rest of us are only doing it out of habit. It's become an addiction to technology. We do not need to see the phone at 5, 6 in the morning. Why? Well begun is half done. This is what we were taught in school. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, wise. Time to go back to those principles all over again. First thing in the morning, the mind is like a blotting paper, absolutely clean after a good sleep, absolutely clean. Absorption power is highest. the first layer of content that will go on to the mind first thing in the morning is going to get absorbed like this into the subconscious. So what we absorb first hour in the morning is very, very crucial for our emotional health. So now, what not to absorb in the first hour of the morning? Do not absorb work-related content first thing in the morning. Work-related content first thing in the morning, which means your work emails, your work messages. We don't need to, again, apart from those few professions, the rest of us do not need to read work emails or work messages at 5 or 6 in the morning. Why should I not read it? Because once I consume it, I do not give my mind the space to think something different. I do not give my mind the time and the energy to create something new. Intuition, creativity, newness can only be created if this mind is silent. Most of us, our minds are fatigued. Why they are fatigued? Because we are at work every time. Vinitji just shared a very beautiful thing. When I'm at home, I'm at home. When I'm at work, I'm at work. Which means when I'm at home at 5, 6 in the morning, I don't need to be at work. I don't need to be at work. And that's why that era before phones was emotionally more relaxed, because once they reached home, they were home. On a Sunday, they were home. On a festival, they were home. That's it. But now, because we have technology, technology has made our life extremely comfortable. But if we don't use it the right way, the same tool can make our life very, very difficult. So first hour of the morning, I am not expected to be at work. And as an organization, because here we have all organizations, as an organization, if you want to enrich your people, if you want to increase the productivity of your organization, if you want emotionally stronger people coming to your office morning tomorrow, give them the space to not be connected at work at least 2 hours before they sleep and at least 2 hours after they wake up. Which means for an average normal time organization, 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't need to be at work in my mind. If 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not at work in my mind, then I'm going to be very, very productive from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. I will be very productive because my mind got that time to disconnect, to withdraw, to recharge, to be creative, to rest well. My mind got that time. So take it up with your organization. Make it an organization culture that after 8 o'clock, we will not call up each other. We will not email each other. We will not message each other. And if we do, we should not be disappointed if we don't get an immediate reply. At least let me give the other person the liberty to respond only when they get to work. This is a very, very important lifestyle change. This lifestyle change is important so that people coming to work every day are rested, not fatigued. Not fatigued minds walking like a robot, walking into work every day, tired, drained out. So first 2 hours of the morning, or at least first hour of the morning, first, no work communication. Second, no world news. The world does not need to be absorbed in my mind first thing in the morning. If I want to become emotionally independent, then I cannot consume the world onto my mind first thing in the morning. Otherwise, the world is on my mind. World can be everything, my family, my work, my news, everything is world. Once I consume that on my mind, then my mind only reacts like the same emotion as the world. It doesn't do anything different. So no world news, no newspaper first thing in the morning. Definitely no news channels first thing in the morning. Unfortunately, highest TRP of all news channels is early morning and late night. And these are the two times where it's harmful for the mind, early morning and late night. So no newspaper, no news channels, no radio songs early morning, 1 hour for myself. First thoughts of the morning should be of gratitude. This is high vibrational frequency. I need to tune my mind to a high vibrational frequency. Gratitude. Gratitude to the higher power. Gratitude to my mind and body for being healthy. Gratitude to people who I live with, people who I work with. Gratitude to my organization. It's very, very important to create gratitude to your workplace. We find a lot of things to complain. Ye theek nahi hai, ye theek nahi hai, ye theek nahi hai. Let's create gratitude. There are people today who don't have work. What fortune. I have work. I have my work, I have my business, I have my job. Why do I complain about something which is so valuable and precious? Nothing can be perfect as I want it to be, but gratitude. I have a choice. It's going to be either gratitude or it's going to be complaint. Shukriya ya shikayat. Two completely different frequencies. So let's begin the day with gratitude. You're setting your mind to a very high vibrational energy. So gratitude to God, gratitude to my mind and body, gratitude to people, gratitude to my workplace, gratitude to nature, prakriti, gratitude, gratitude to everything. It just says 4-5 thoughts. Then at least 15 minutes, meditation. Meditation means, of course, you can learn meditation, but meditation would mean to spend time with yourself, consciously creating very high vibrational thoughts. One spiritual equation which we need to know, it's an energy equation, and that is Sankalp se Siddhi. Sankalp is thoughts, Siddhi is manifest. Sankalp se Siddhi means our thoughts manifest, our thoughts become a reality, which means what I create here is what I will see here tomorrow. Tomorrow means in the future. So Sankalp se Siddhi. Look at the kind of sankalp we created in the last 5 months. We created fear, anxiety. We created doubt. Agar mujhe ho gaya to. We didn't create very good thoughts for our work. The day the lockdown was announced, within 2 days, we had logical predictions for the rest of the year. इस साल business ये हो जाएगा, economy ये हो जाएगी, ये खत्म हो जाएगा, क्या होगा, 2020 तो साल ही गया. Low vibrational vocabulary. Low vibrational thoughts. This was a year to create miracles. This is still a year to create miracles. And what is a miracle? A miracle is when the human mind does not get influenced by situation, but rises above the situation, rises above public opinion, and creates a destiny of their choice. That's what the world will call as a miracle. So we've created low vibrational words for our jobs, for our businesses, and that has started manifesting as reality. We can change it today. So choose a few high vibrational thoughts. For example, one thought, I am a powerful being. This is an affirmation. I am a powerful being, which means emotionally, I'm strong. I don't get disturbed here. So the affirmation, the sankalp is, I am a powerful being. Not I should be, could be, I hope I am, which means create a thought which you want to see in reality tomorrow. I am a powerful being. Second affirmation, I am a peaceful being, which means anger, irritation, hurt out. I'm a peaceful being. Third, I am a fearless being. We're surrounded by vibrations of fear and anxiety. So we have to rise above so that they don't influence us. I am a fearless being. Fourth, my body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Somewhere in the subconscious, there is a doubt. Agar mujhe ho gaya to, office bhi jana hai ab to, tomorrow I might travel by metro. Agar mujhe ho gaya to. So we don't want to create that thought. That thought is not good for the mind or for the body. So we create a thought, my body is perfectly healthy and will always be. Every time you create a sankalp, visualize it, perfect healthy body and will always be. In case you have any health issues, which means suppose somebody has something as simple as high blood pressure. Now just put it in your affirmation. My blood pressure is normal. My blood pressure is normal. My sugar levels are normal. And you can put that for any other issue in the mind or in the body. It is normal. This is a sankalp we are creating so that it gets siddha tomorrow. It will manifest. But if I keep saying, I have high blood pressure, I have diabetes, then that is the sankalp that I am creating. So change it. Affirmation, what you want to see tomorrow, create a thought, it is today, and make it your reality. God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. Please do this every day, many times in a day. I am protected by divine energy. Highest vibrations circle of protection around me. Low vibrations cannot enter into this circle. Create a circle of protection around your family instead of creating a thought, what if, what will happen when they go to school, what will happen when they go to college. Low vibration thoughts. Take care, but don't create low vibration thoughts. Take care and create blessings, high vibration thoughts. Very, very important to create a high vibration thought for your workplace. So God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around my work. Divine light protecting around my work. My business, my work is safe and secure and will always be. This is an affirmation. Success is certain for me. 2020-21 is a year of miracle for my work. Create the affirmation. Put figures there if you want. Abundance is our reality. Last few months we have been talking about lack. कम है, कम है, कम है, इतना percent कम है, इतना percent कम है. Start talking about abundance. Start thinking about abundance to manifest it. Abundance is my reality. Success is certain for me. And then last one affirmation for the world. Divine light protection around the planet. My world is beautiful. So how many thoughts? 8 to 10 thoughts? How much time to create these thoughts? 2 to 3 minutes? That's all. I'm a powerful being. I'm a peaceful being. I'm a fearless being. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. I'm protected by the divine energy circle. My family is protected. Then same circle for my workplace. Success is certain for me. Abundance is my reality. 2020-21 is a year of miracle for my organization and a circle of protection for the planet. Just take 10 affirmations, add your own set of affirmations to it for your health, for your nature, for your relationships. Suppose you're not getting along with somebody, say, this relationship is smooth, it's in harmony. We stand on a foundation of respect and acceptance instead of saying, मेरी तो बनती नहीं है इनसे, पता नहीं इनको क्या प्रॉब्लम है मुझसे, तंग ही करते रहते हैं सारा दिन. संकल्प से सिद्धि. Thoughts manifest. So create these few thoughts at least 3 to 4 times in the morning. So spend 10-15 minutes with yourself. And as you create the thought, visualize it. Power of affirmation plus power of visualization. This will become a manifestation. This will become a reality. So 10-15 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes of a very, very healthy emotional diet. At 20 minutes, this will be mandatory now. If we want to remain stable in these coming times, it will be mandatory to consume a healthy emotional diet, which means watch, read, or listen, anything you like, but it should be high vibrational content of gratitude, compassion, acceptance, success, miracles, cooperation, not competition, caring and sharing, not comparison, self-respect. That's where spirituality comes in. This is spiritual content. It could be a video, it could be a self-improvement book, anything you choose. But please give yourself at least 20 minutes of high vibrational content. So this is our 1 hour in the morning meditation, 20 minutes of study, 20-25 minutes of physical health, yoga, pranayama, exercise, or walk, whatever you choose. 1.5 hour, 15 minutes as a package to take care of mind and body both. This is no more an option, should be mandatory. It's not one of those things that we will do just in time milega. I will do it jab time milega. ये हमें करना ही है और बाकी टाइम में हम बाकी सब कुछ कर लेंगे. When you begin, initially you will have to take out that 1 hour. After some time, within a few weeks, you will experience that you will have more time during the day because the mind is going to be easier, lighter, thinking less and thinking right. So this is the first hour of the morning. Equally important, the last hour before we go to sleep. Lockdown is a good time to set our sleeping patterns right. ऐसा नहीं कभी भी सो रहे 6 घंटा सो रहे हैं लेकिन कभी भी सो रहे हैं कोई भी टाइम पे सो रहे हैं. The best time to sleep, and that's another topic altogether, but the best time to sleep is 10 to 4. By 10 we should be asleep. Highest energy time for healing the body and healing the mind. 10 we should sleep. If we sleep by 10, we will naturally wake up by 4 or 5. 4 o'clock, Amrit Vela, Brahma Muhurat, the highest energy time. Creativity. You want a new idea? Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's a very, very powerful time. But 10 o'clock, if we sleep, we will automatically wake up between 4 and 5. So just before sleeping, most of us are not sleeping right. We're sleeping enough. We are sleep deprived. We can fall off to sleep anytime, just like this in the flight, in the car. We fall off to sleep when we are not engaged in any technology. So just before sleeping, at least 2 hours before we sleep, we should disconnect from work. Because to sleep, the mind needs to slow down. You cannot just fall off to sleep with a turbulent mind, with an overthinking mind. If we go to sleep, then only the body sleeps after that. Because we are tired, so the body goes off to sleep, but the mind is thinking. So now what happens since the time we have technology, we are engaged with content till the last minute till we sleep. So the mind is an active, hyperactive stage and we go off to sleep. And after that, the body sleeps. The mind has a lot to think about. Wake up in the morning and you're not your best, fresh, energetic self. So at least 2 hours before we go to sleep, disconnect from work. Allow this mind to slow down. The mind is in the beta plus stage. It has to go from beta plus to beta to alpha to theta. Delta is deep sleep. But if we go to sleep in the beta plus stage, we might just remain in that beta stage, alpha stage. So we need to go into the alpha stage before we go to sleep, slowing down. So 2 hours before we sleep, we disconnect from work. 1 hour before we sleep, we disconnect from all media, social media. So again, no TV serials, no movies, no songs. 1 hour before we sleep. Anything which is turbulent. You want to watch something which has a slowing down effect on your mind? That's fine. Anything which activates your mind, that's not good. So listen to music, listen to bhajans, read a book which has a very soothing effect on you, or a video which is very positive. So again, 1 hour, be with your family. Spend time doing nothing, any hobby. There is a lot that we can do in 1 hour. But no problems discussion, no argument discussion with family that hour before we go to sleep. At least 10 minutes before we go to sleep, we should again absorb very pure emotional diet. Write out in a journal or a diary anything that was not right during the day, which means don't take any pain with you to sleep, any emotional wound, any hurt, any anxiety, any worry. Write it out. Keep it for tomorrow. That's why people write diaries, because it helps to bring out the emotion and not go to sleep with it. So just write it out. Now, just before going to sleep, we can create those affirmations again, because we are programming our mind to a different way of thinking. We're teaching the mind a different vocabulary. Within 10 days, these affirmations, within 10 days, these affirmations will become your natural way of thinking. So it will no more remain an affirmation. It will become your natural way of thinking, your natural way of speaking, and then that will become your reality. So your last thoughts just before you go to sleep, even after you close your eyes, let it be the affirmations. Then next 6-7 hours, it is that high vibration thoughts which will get created and radiate healing energy to your body. So 1 hour in the morning and the last hour before we sleep is very, very important. During the day, whatever we absorbed in the morning, we will implement during the day. As an organization, let's make our organization a no anger zone. Let's make it that हमारे ऑफिस में, हमारे कंपनी में कोई किसी को डांट के बात नहीं कर सकता है. Assertive होंगे, डिसिप्लिन करेंगे, लेकिन गुस्सा नहीं करेंगे. No smoking, no plastic. Third, very important, no anger. WHO this year has said work and respect and dignity at the workplace, which means no anger. So let's make our workplace a no anger zone. So practical implementation during the day. कि गुस्सा करके नहीं बात करनी, इरिटेट होकर नहीं बात करनी, because ये चीजें मेरी इमोशनल हेल्थ को डिप्लीट करती हैं. I have to keep this energized. And the last thing, take care of the physical diet. Make it a culture at home that when you're having your meal, no phone, no TV while we are having a meal, no screens while we are eating. Eating is a ritual, it energizes our mind and body. जैसा अन्न वैसा मन है, जैसा अन्न वैसा मन है. So let's not have any screens while eating, no business meetings while eating. We're not talking work while eating. We do our meeting, then we eat, or we eat and then we do our meeting, but not meeting and eating together. 10 minutes to have a meal. We were taught to begin our meal with silence. We were taught to say our little prayer before we start eating. How many of us are doing that 2 to 3 times a day on a daily basis? It's as simple as that to get emotional health. Just pause for 10 seconds before you eat. Pause for 10 seconds before you eat. Gratitude, say your prayer, and say those affirmations. When you're saying them every time, they take only 10 seconds. Only 10 seconds. But if your food and your water absorbs the high vibrational content, then jaisa anna vaisa man, jaisa pani vaisi vani. The water of this city is vibrating with fear and anxiety right now because it's in the air. So if you just drink your water like this, you have consumed the vibrations of the city. So we were taught, पानी को ऐसे लो, फिर ऐसे high energy words बोलो, फिर उसको ऐसे खाने पे डालो. And we thought ये सब क्या है? So we now just start eating. नहीं, ये सब बहुत scientific था. Energize the water, then use that high energy water to energize your food. That is what it was taught to us. So let's just go back to doing that. Just pause for 10 seconds before your meal, before your glass of water. Just say those 10 affirmations within 10 days. That's certain. If anybody does it these many times, within 10 days, your stress level is going to go down because your way of thinking and way of speaking will change. And experiment with the vegetarian diet. This Thursday, 1st of October, is a World Vegetarian Day. Experiment with a vegetarian diet. Food which has vibrations of someone's pain, anger, violence, and death cannot give peace. It can give proteins to the body, but it cannot give peace and happiness to the mind. जैसा अन्न वैसा मन. So नवरात्रों में हम सात्विक खाना क्यों खाते हैं? Because we want to experience divinity. So हम सात्विक खाना खाते हैं. तो फिर 9 दिन क्यों? हर रोज क्यों नहीं? So let's experiment with the sattvic diet. No screens while we are eating, and that 10-second pause before we eat and drink. Connect to the higher power. Say your affirmations. So first thing in the morning, last thing before going to sleep, and every time when we eat and drink. So that comes to about 10 to 12 times in a day. And that's it. If I do that 10 to 12 times in a day for 10 days, my mind will learn a different vocabulary. संकल्प चेंज हो जाएंगे, और अगर संकल्प चेंज हो गए, सिद्धि, reality चेंज हो जाएगी. So taking care of emotional health is the simplest thing to do. It's very, very simple. But if we don't take care of those basic things, then what we are experiencing is also a natural byproduct of not taking care of the mind. So simple steps to take care of that denominator, the resilience and experience, not stress management, but experience a stress-free life. You can have a challenging life, you can have very, very tough pressures, but you can be very calm and peaceful because that is emotional health. That is emotional fitness. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Shivani ji. You have given us very, very exhaustive measures ways to learn and implement in our life so that our life is stressless. we have better healthy life going forward. Before I go any further, Vineet has a question to ask you. So I will request Vineet to raise the question that he wants to ask you.
Thank you,
Vineet
Anilji, and thank you, Sister Shivani ji. It was phenomenal to hear you, and it was I was quite transfixed and just making notes about things. A lot of things what you've said are very, very practical, and I think that's very critical that today we understand that in life you have to be practical. Otherwise, it's very difficult to lead a life without in just a certain mode. So I think your whatever you've told us has been fantastic in terms of learning, at least personally for me. I want to ask you a question that you alluded towards the end on food and essentially on the physical body. And I'm actually taking the other side. I gave you the quote about what Mahatma Gandhi said about I preserve hard, I strive hard to preserve my physical body. However, I'm now asking that question is that how hard should we strive to preserve our physical body, and what should we do to preserve our physical body so that, as you also said clearly, it's that link that we go back and helps us to satisfy our soul or preserve our soul. So what should we do with our physical body? Many people are obsessed with beauty, obsessed with the physical body. So how can we look at or rather, what should we be doing with our physical body so that we are able to preserve our soul?
Actually, the simple question which Swami Vivekananda said, who am I? If I know who am I, most of my issues of life would be resolved. So like you said, beauty, we all want to be beautiful. Perfection, we all want to be perfect. But who's the I who wants to be beautiful? Who's the I who wants to be perfect? That I is not the body. The body is mine. The I is here. So you call it the soul. So it's that I, the energy, the consciousness, the light. We are human beings. So human being is two words, human and being. So human means humus, mitti. So that's the body. And being, the energy. So what happened was, because we were not living in the awareness that I am a being, I am a soul, we just thought this is who I am. So this should be beautiful, this should be perfect. And so we focused only on this. While we were taking care of perfect body, perfect work, achievement, we were looking at beauty, perfection, peace, happiness, success, everything outside. This was all actually here. I needed peace here, perfection here, beauty here, success here, even success here. But for the last few decades, success, cover page of magazines only turned out to be those who were achievers outside. Only achiever outside. So if I've achieved in my life, in whatever field of life, if I have achieved, then society labeled me as successful. But that's not true. Look at the Hindi word of success is safalta. And safalta comes from the word safal. And safal means आपने अपना सफल किया, आपने अपना समय सफल किया, आपने अपनी energy सफल की, which means you used your life in a worthwhile way, giving to the world. Everything in nature is giving. पेड़ दे रहा है, पानी दे रहा है, सूर्य दे रहा है. Even human being, nature is to give. Nature is to give. Every time we go to the temple, we see the deities. They are like this. They are like this. So Devi Devta, to give. And we call them our ancestors. So which means our nature is to give. But because we somewhere shifted from giving to only wanting and asking and seeking, we were not experiencing our true self. So I want to experience beauty, I want to experience perfection, but because I was not experiencing it, I started looking for it outside. So I said, my body should be perfect, and perfect according to what the world says it should be perfect. So I went around trying to change my nose, my mouth, everything in the physical body we wanted perfect. But because we were not taking care of the soul, we still could not achieve perfect health here. we still could not achieve perfect health in spite of all our diets, all our things that we're doing outside, because it's human being. It's the influence of mind over matter. When we start taking care of the soul, so which means when we start experiencing happiness, we start experiencing peace, and we start becoming a giver in life, you start experiencing that beauty. And that beauty is here. You start experiencing a very beautiful life. And that's why, where even as far as the climate change is concerned, we need our life to be simplistic, simpler lives. Even Anilji was saying in the beginning, we've realized in 4 months we need less. We don't need so much that we are always wanting. But jab hum yahan par, when we are experiencing that beauty here, we will not want more and more and more, thinking that this will give me happiness, beauty, and perfection. So taking care of the body, yes, but being obsessed that the body should be perfect according to how the world says it's perfect, we're actually moving away from beauty. We're actually, because we're creating jealousy, we're creating comparison, we're creating low self-esteem. Oh, I'm not perfect because I don't have the perfect height or the perfect everything. And then my inner beauty starts getting affected. It starts getting affected because I thought I was not as beautiful as the world wants me to be. So let's be a beautiful soul. Your body will reflect your inner beauty then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani, for a very beautiful response to Vinitji's question. I am going to ask you a very practical question that today most of the people are experiencing. This pandemic actually is not locking people in their offices today. People are caged in their homes. When they are caged in their homes, there are new set of challenges that have come, which is posing huge amount of stress on them. And challenges are, when your life was normal before COVID-19, there was morning bell that was ringing. It was an alarm for you to get up. You're, getting ready. You're running for your breakfast, picking up your coffee and going. And then there is a traffic that you are negotiating, reaching office. And when you're in office environment, there is gossip, there is politics, people are having jokes, all that was their life. And suddenly this life has changed for people and they are sitting at home. And when they are sitting at home, there is a huge amount of change in their life. They don't have office, somebody's sofa has become his office space. Somebody's bed has become an office. So all this is actually relaxation or giving them more pressure or giving them respite. People are sitting in their casual, which perhaps was their dream, and suddenly they find that even that is not giving them any relaxation. Over a period of 6-8 months, people are feeling more stressful because of this than relaxed. So what would be your advice to them to deal with this current situation?
Again, what we're experiencing in the mind is nothing to do with the situation. Like you shared, we're sitting at home, we're sitting in our casual clothes, and yet we are not relaxed. But were we relaxed when we were waking up early, getting ready, picking up the coffee and driving to work? Were we relaxed then? We were not relaxed then either. And we're not relaxed here either. Because being relaxed here is nothing to do with the outside world. This is very, very important. Our mind stability is not dependent on our situations. If I am not energizing okay, let's not look at emotional health. Let's look at physical health. Is my physical health dependent on my situations? No, it's dependent on me taking care of my physical health on a daily basis. So I eat well, I sleep well, I exercise. I'm physically healthy. Now my situations could be very comfortable. My situations could be very challenging. There are people, they are one of us who are also there on the border in the toughest of situations. So that is also a situation. They are one of us. They could be one of our children. They were not born different. They were just trained on a daily basis to be able to cope with that situation. So they were taking care of that mind and their body. Similarly, for us, situations are not going to be in our control. There can be not a more comfortable situation at this time than sitting at a home, safe and secure. You should say that to yourself every day, that I'm fortunate. I am safe and secure with my family at home. Look at those professions who are having to go out every single day in a high risk situation and then come back from there to their family every day with the fear that what if I'm carrying it with me and what if I give it to my parents or to my little kids? You are so fortunate that you are sitting at home. So it's all about a perception. But if we find something to complain even in that, then obviously stress is normal. So stress is not about sitting at home. Stress is not about going to work. Stress is how I think about what I'm doing. If I look at the same situation in the right perspective, I will be grateful for my situation every single day. That when there are such tough times outside, me and my family are safe. I have work. What a big fortune is to have work right now. There are some of us who don't have work. So I should have nothing to complain about. I have work. I am with my family at home. This is a blessing and I am fortunate to live a life like that. If I start thinking like that, I will have nothing to complain about what's happening at home. It's a situation. We have to accept it. Children are studying from home. We are seeing nursery kids whose it was the first year for them to go to school this year and they are learning to do it on screen. They are adapting. Sure, we can adapt very easily. It's just that we have a lot to complain about. So that complaining, that criticizing, that no, this was better, that was better, that's what depletes our energy and causes stress, not the situation. So just accept the situation. Be grateful for your beautiful, lovely situation, which is everything perfect. Today, my mind is healthy, my body is healthy, my family is healthy. What a fortune. What a fortune. Go and see how much people are suffering outside. So there is so much to be grateful about that stress cannot be an option right now. Not right now.
Thank you, Shivani. I have few questions from the audience, which I'm going to request you to respond. One of the questions that has come is that how can we manage our stress and anger when multiple problems come at a time?
Again, the same thing. This is something we'll have to still experiment because we're again thinking that the stress is because of the problem and the anger is because of the problem. It's like, okay, let's look at the current situation. There is an epidemic outside, but we are learning how to take care. So now we know that if we go out, we wear a mask, we stand far away, we come home, we wash our hands. We're doing all this now. But if we don't do all this, if we are careless, then there is a chance of catching the virus. Similarly, emotionally also, there is pressure outside. There are people who are not going to be my way. There are people who are going to do ethically wrong things. There is a lot that's going to happen outside. I have to protect myself emotionally. I cannot consume the infection of the world emotionally. And I cannot say they did this, so I created anger. And that's why when we energize this mind on a daily basis, the world will remain the same. Those people who were challenging will remain the same. Their behaviors will be the same, but my way of responding to the same situation will change because I strengthened myself. It's here. We are responding from here. Even if you decide for 24 hours, that 24 hours I will not create irritation and anger. Just 24 hours. Look at the customer care industry. Look at the service industry. Again, they are one of us. People shout at them. People even use abusive language. We've all seen it happen, whether it's in the hotels, whether it's at the airport, whether it is when somebody calls them up. They are trained and they will just smile and they'll say, okay, sir, thank you, sir, I'll call you back again. How are they able to do it? Why aren't they getting angry? Somebody was so mean to them. Why are they not getting angry? because they prepare their mind. If I create anger, I lose my job. If I get angry, I lose my job. But for us, we don't have that. So we allow ourselves to get angry every time. Look at how people are more aggressive and abusive with the service industry than they are with other people, because they know that the other side is not going to react. So they allow themselves to create more anger. So anger is a choice. Anger is a choice. You can get angry with your family. You can get angry with your colleagues. But do you go and get angry with your seniors? No, you don't. You can get angry inside, but at least you'll not bring it out in words. Stop. First stage is solved. Why do you not get angry with your seniors? Because you know you cannot do that. So anger is a choice. It is a choice. We are allowing ourselves to talk that way because we believe कि जब हम गुस्सा करते हैं तो हमारे काम जल्दी हो जाते हैं. जब हम गुस्सा करते हैं तो लोग हमारा कहना मानते हैं. This is the power that we thought we have, but that weapon is only harming us. That weapon is only harming my emotional and my physical health and my relationships. So when I start meditating and taking good spiritual diet early morning, and then preparing myself that patience and peace is my way of working, very soon your anger will go like this, like this, like this, and finished. It will be finished. So it's a disease which will finish if I start taking care of my health.
Thank you very much, Shivani. There is another question that has come from audience. See, this time has created huge amount of insecurity and uncertainty amongst people. Some people fear financial loss. Some people fear job loss. Some people are fearing their income level will reduce substantially. Now, this has added huge amount of stress to their lives, and this is real. So they're asking, how should they deal with this stress because of these uncertainties and financial stress?
First is, since you still have your job and your salary, even if it's cut a little bit, be grateful for it every single day. Be really grateful. Create that gratitude in your thoughts for it, because what that gratitude will do will create a harmony in relationship with your work. It's very important to have a harmonious relationship with everything in our life. But if I create my thoughts like, what if this happens? The same thing has happened in the other company. उस organization में भी ऐसे ही हो गया. मेरे यहाँ भी अगर ऐसे होगा तो क्या कहेगा? We are already creating apprehension and anxiety, even if things are not that way right now. So this is for people who are already fine. They have everything. They need to shift their minds towards gratitude, towards certainty. Uncertainty is in my thought process. It's not happened outside yet. It's in my thought process. Sankalp se siddhi hai. Let's experiment with this. Sankalp se siddhi hai. Our thoughts manifest, they become a reality. One day, a child was born, didn't have both the arms, didn't have both the legs. What do you think the world must have said that day about the child? People must have said, इसकी तो जीवन का कोई फायदा ही नहीं है. ये लाइफ में क्या करने वाला है ये बच्चा? दोनों हाथ नहीं है, दोनों पैर नहीं है. Today that child travels all over the world and gives people positive thinking talks. So what happened? That child did not allow his situation and people's opinion to overpower their mind. They took their mind above, leading a very beautiful life. They are very happy. The world is calling it a miracle. So it's the power of the mind. Even if I've lost my job, chalo, worst case situation, even if I've lost my job, I need to take care of my mind. If my mind is fine, my next job is ready for me. Let me have that confidence. If my mind is fine, if I am hardworking and I'm sincere, my karma will take care of me. I have to have faith and confidence in myself. But if this little gap comes in between of 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, and I deplete myself here, then even if there is an opportunity right there before me, am I emotionally equipped for that opportunity? Am I attracting the opportunity into my life? No, because I'm creating fear and anxiety and panic. So there are different times. Things outside have changed. Outside is not in our control. But to cross this, I need to take complete charge of my mind so that we will cross this crisis. We will, we are certain of that. But if in the meantime, things slip out from here, then everything here can become okay. But I might not be okay enough to handle that. So, and life, even if my salaries are less, minimal lifestyle, each one of us can lead very nicely. Very nicely. It's just going to be a little simplistic lifestyle for some time. And for many of us, that could become our lifestyle because we'll realize that we were spending money on a lot of things which we probably didn't need. But then they are different times. But my mind is healthy, my body is healthy, my family is safe. Let me only create gratitude every day. Let me look at the millions of people all over the world who have lost a lot, who have lost a lot. I could have lost a job, but I'm sure I'll get one very soon. But people have lost what they will never be able to get back. So always, always I have to be grateful and positive and powerful for what I have. That energy will give me the strength to create my solutions of life. And if I have my job and my salary, then there's no way I should create even a single thought of fear and insecurity. Not at all.
Thank you, Shivani ji. Like all good things have to come to an end. I'm sure all the participants and all of us would want to continue to hear the words of wisdom that you give us in this stressful time, how to de-stress ourselves. We have heard you very deeply, intently, and patiently, your words of wisdom as to how we should stop blaming the situation. We should start focusing on situation. We should all start focusing on solutions. We should be always positive, and that is what is going to reduce stress. Emotional illness and how we have to create emotional independence going forward. Your example on equation of stress where pressure over resilience is something that we all have to work as to how to reduce and play the balance between denominators and so that we should continue to focus on denominator, because if we focus on denominator, our stress level is likely to reduce over a period of time. Mental health, there has been steep rise. It has been rising for the last, I think, 20, 30 years. As you very correctly said, that in the last 40, 50 years, if you look at, life was very different. Our needs were very different. The consumerism in the last 30, 40 years has changed the world, has changed the way we all think, the way we all live. Our needs and greeds have totally changed. Our greed has got the better of us and not focusing on our needs. And therefore, we have made our lives more stressful than it needs to be. And therefore, we need to work on all this if we want our emotional quotient, emotional health to improve going forward. Your advice on miracle on inner self, create a miracle on your inner self is also very, very wise advice to all the participants. Your advice on gratitude to higher power, gratitude to workplace, people in your life, nature, all these are words of wisdom on which I'm sure there have been takeaways for all the participants, and they will go and practice in their life. I must say that concept of affirmation has made a very deep mark on myself, and I'm sure many of the participants will take away this in their future lives and immensely gain from this. Last but not least, what you have said, Sankalp se Siddhi is something I think we all can actually make a key to our success to less stressful life going forward. So I, on behalf of Vineet Agarwal ji, SHM, the team SHM who's actually worked on ensuring that we have this webinar, are deeply thankful to you and to your team for coming and spending time with us. Many, many thanks. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you, Anilji. Thank you, Vineetji. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.